Matt. Well, we've made it through another season of sports here on the pod. So, football season, the 24-25 season has officially come to a close. It
Thank
was,
goodness.
yeah, thank goodness. Honestly, for both of us, we've had better
Like,
years. Uh, both of our teams pretty much doomed. It was kind of worse. I don't know if it was worse for me because it was like, oh, it's like this
they were
sliver of
teasing
hope.
you.
They're just
Yeah.
teasing me along the way. And obviously, we know how that ended. But I guess we got to talk about the Super Bowl, even though this is probably one of the least like like Super Bowls that I cared the least about the actual game itself. Like honestly, I haven't looked forward to. I don't think I've ever, as big as the performers are, looked forward to the halftime show more than the actual game itself. Ever since I started actually watching football when I was a kid, but this one was definitely one of those. I just didn't care either way. You know, um, obviously for you, I would think leaning more on the Chiefs side. At least you hate one team more. I didn't really care. I didn't really care for certain people on each team, but at the end of the day, it was like whatever, right? I'm just gonna watch just to watch. So obviously, not gonna have our resident Chiefs fan back on the pod. I'm sure he's still reeling for
You
um, the
didn't take up
display
that offer, man.
the display that the Chiefs put on paper out there. So put on tape out there. Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting football from the Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, probably one of the worst games I've seen Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid put together offensively. Um, the defense, I think you're going to give up some points, but when your offense is giving you absolutely nothing and turning the ball over, like there's only so much a defense is going to do against an Eagles offense that's that loaded, right? So, anyway, um, ate good. I'm sure Matt, you had a good time outside of the
I
actual
ate a
game.
lot. I think I gained some weight. I actually didn't drink that much as I thought I was gonna drink because I thought, man, this game is gonna suck. Like, let's just. I mean, you said it in your text in one of the group chats. You were like, "Let's all just get drunk and have this game on in the
Yeah,
background." Like
honestly,
that was my
probably should have.
plan, but then didn't turn out that way. I think
Well,
I just
we're
was
we're
smoking the whole
responsible
time.
adults now, Matt.
It was
We're
a work
like,
day too.
yeah, work
Work
night,
day.
so we're responsible adults now, and we're just maturing. That's all it is.
You're right.
We're maturing, and I'm not gonna say we're getting old, even though we're getting closer to the big, 3-0. But we are maturing. So let's just hey, this is self growth, right, Matt? Like here's the self growth. Even though you got the Michelob Ultra shirt on,
Yep.
that's what I was drinking on
Me
Sunday.
too.
Yeah, so I was just I was just chilling, but guess let's get into the game itself. So in a nutshell, right? Completely one-sided affair from start to finish. Did not see that coming at all, especially after the Super Bowl a couple years ago, right? Kind of expecting a similar situation. Although I must say, was not expecting 40 points from the Eagles.
Hmm.
Um, so just completely dominated. I mean, pretty much from start to finish. And really, Matt, we gotta highlight the main group, the star of the show, which was that Philadelphia defense, right? Led by Vic Fangio, who
Your guy.
left Miami last year, and gotta give credit where credit is due. He put out an absolutely amazing game plan to stopping the Kansas City Chiefs. Was taking things away, was making Mahomes uncomfortable, right? And that defense looked ready from the jump. Matt, could you have told me like they would the Kansas City Chiefs would be shut out through the first half, right? I wouldn't have believed you. Not only that, right? But essentially through three quarters. Like they went almost 3 quarters without scoring a single point. I don't think they crossed midfield for like 3 quarters, right? Or so something
For the half, I don't
absolutely
think they
ridiculous.
crossed midfield in the first half.
Yeah, or yeah, in the first half. And so almost through until that touchdown drive, I don't think they crossed midfield, which is
Crazy.
like absolutely insane for any Kansas City team led by Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid with, it's not like they got complete scrubs out there. They made it to the Super Bowl. Still got Travis Kelsey, Xavier Worthy, had some flashes, but Pacheco and Hunt. I mean, they ran through the AFC, right? Like we expect some kind of uh offensive display from this unit. So for them to come out there and put out that kind of performance, really got to tip your cap, right, to that Eagles defense, special teams as well. I thought did a really good job, but let's break it down a little bit here, Matt. So, want to start off with what you have highlighted here. Obviously, now this is 2 times we have seen the recipe for stopping. I don't even. Well, we'll say Patrick Mahomes, right? But essentially, it really is how to stop elite quarterbacks, and how do you stop guys like Tom Brady, guys like Patrick Mahomes, right? You got to make them uncomfortable, and you got to throw off the timing. And I will say where Patrick is always going to have the advantage over Tom is the ability to create, right? To be able to get outside the pocket or spin around. We've seen it a million times. He just figures out a way to get out of trouble. But to give that Eagles defensive line credit, Matt, they not only dominated physically, but for them to stay disciplined in their lanes and not let Patrick Mahomes get outside the pocket. It really, really was reminiscent of that Tampa Bay and Kansas City Super Bowl we saw several years ago. So, you know, got to give credit where credit's due to that Phillies defense, that game plan, Matt. And we'll kind of get into the breakdown here. But for me, really, it was the ability for whoever was on the field, 4 guys for that Philly defensive line to get pressure without blitzing. I mean, just constant getting after Mahomes, staying in your lanes, keeping contained, and giving him no space to step up in the pocket, like constantly throughout the whole game. That was an absolute masterclass by the Philly defensive line. Because as we've seen, Matt, Patrick Mahomes absolutely shreds the blitz. Like he knows where it's coming from. He knows where you're going to send the extra guy. And so many times we see whether it's, Travis Kelsey or a back out of the backfield or someone on a little crossing route, right? He's able to take advantage of the blitz and he knows you're at a disadvantage coverage wise. He knows exactly where to put the ball every single time to kill the blitz. But when you're able to drop 7 and able to get the kind of pressure that the front 4 is able to get, like gave him absolutely no chance to get the ball, rid of the ball. And they've really limited those escape plays that he's been so patented at. So yeah, I know we can kind of get into it here, Matt, but yeah, just your initial thoughts on that performance of the Philly defense.
Probably, I mean, you said it was reminiscent of the Tampa Bay victory, or I should say Tampa Bay loss for the Chiefs. But honestly, that was even more impressive than Tampa. And Tampa Bay played them great, kept them out of the end zone. 9 points, you could say, well, Chiefs scored 22 points. But in context, kind of all, you could say, garbage time touchdowns. But I just think it was the corners too. And it's a full defensive unit credit. Like it starts with the front 4, let's be honest. But Philadelphia's back end was, I don't want to say just as dominant, but they were very, 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 very good, I think. And I think it starts with their tackling. I think Cooper DeJean. Everybody's talking about him now, but I think sadly for me, kind of a star has been kind of born, I think,
It's
with
just
this
crazy
with this
that
kid.
that defensive backfield though.
Yeah, I mean, Quinyon Mitchell, he was the first round pick. I
Hmm.
mean, I think he's been pretty solid as the season has gotten, further along. He's gotten, I think, what, one or two interceptions in the playoffs now after having nothing in the regular season. But I think Cooper DeJean really deserves a lot of credit. You can make a case he could have been Super Bowl MVP too. Um, I think his open field tackling on like the first drive, it was like he had a one-on-one tackle. I don't know who it was, if it was like Pacheco or something or receiver, makes a tackle, clean as day. I was like, oh, okay, that's a pretty good tackle. And then obviously we know he has the pick six that almost, in a sense, put this game on like, oh, they're in trouble now. Like,
Like real trouble, not
yeah,
just
like
like
that was he changed the game with that interception, honestly, because at 10-0, everyone is probably still thinking, well, it's the Chiefs. They'll figure it out eventually. They were down 10 in the other Super Bowl against the Eagles. Like they can come back, no worries. But not only does Mahomes get picked, but it's a pick six. And it's like, oh, 17-0. This is bad. This could actually
it's
turn
like
out to be really bad.
wait, this is yeah.
Is this actually happening? But I mean, we can talk about the front four, but I mean, you touched on it already, but I gotta shout out Cooper DeJean and that back end. I mean, they were just as good. I mean, in a nutshell, this is what it takes to beat the Chiefs. A complete team effort. So yeah, just
Complete.
play a perfectly clean game and you guys can beat the Chiefs. Easier said than done, right? But I think Fangio, they said something like that was his first win against a Patrick Mahomes led team, I think. I think they were talking about it on the pregame or something. Like he was like 0-7, 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes as a coach. I guess that goes back to when he was with the Dolphins as a DC, and then I guess the was he with the Broncos before that? I don't know who he was with before,
Yeah.
but kind of crazy stat. But his scheme, if you think about it, that's the way to, in a sense, beat him. You have to have that dominant front four so you can not sacrifice on the back end, right? Because Patrick Mahomes, he can pick up the blitz. A lot of the good quarterbacks, I think, that can throw the ball, almost like being blitzed in a sense where if you miss your gap, you're screwed. That's like a 20-yard gain at a minimum, I think. So for them to be able to rush for, play into Vic Fangio's scheme, that was huge. And it helps when you have a very talented defensive line, I think. So just a pretty impressive performance defensively. Even more so than the Tampa Bay one, I think, 5 years ago. I think. Wow, crazy! 5 years ago.
Hmm. Yeah. And Matt, just to kind of almost piggyback off of obviously the Philly defense, but who's on the field at the same time? Got to talk about this Kansas City offense as well, right? And we'll get, like I said, we'll get to the Eagles offense too, because do want to get to them. But the Kansas City offense, Matt, I mean, just the worst, like genuinely that worst performance I probably ever seen from this, head coach quarterback combo, which is going to go down in the history books. Uh, Guaranteed Hall of Famers at this point, right? With a Hall of Fame
Mm-hmm.
tight end. So, um, I just thought that it was so interesting. We didn't really see any adjustments made. I mean,
Yeah, it was
um,
like the first game when they lost to Tampa Bay. Like, there's no like, why is nobody chipping? Like, you can't just keep going five wide and only have five guys protecting. Like, use your tight ends, use your running backs to chip, protect. Like,
and I
I don't know.
will.
I didn't see any of that, or not a lot of it, I think.
Uh-huh. And also, Matt, we talked about the line and how the Eagles dominated, but Patrick Mahomes, I thought, was off. Like missing easy throws that we're so used to seeing. I think it was the first drive maybe where he has Kelsey over the middle and like throws it behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So already from the jump, and there are a couple low ones. Um, Even that one that DeAndre Hopkins, ends up dropping like a little bit kind of out of his reach with no one in the vicinity, right? So it's like, why are you trying to, you know, rifle this thing in there when he has all this open grass to go play
Yeah.
with the ball? Like make it a little bit more of a catchable ball there on I think it was third down, right? So just like weird stuff. I don't know if the magic ran out or he was feeling a little bit off and maybe the voodoo was getting to him down in Louisiana. I don't know, man, but like really, I've never seen Patrick Mahomes in a big game, especially look that just like off target and not really be able to figure out any answers as well. Also gonna add on, I mean, if you look at the stats, I couldn't believe that there were only 11 rushing attempts from Kansas City. It felt like there were way more rush. I don't know why, but because I was thinking at the time, oh, they're running the ball kind of a lot for being down as much as they are. But kind of go back and look at the stats. Like Kareem Hunt, 3 carries for 9 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 3 carries for 7 yards. Like, is that almost feels like a Mandela effect kind of thing? Because I swore each of them got like 5 touches. I don't know. I'm like I
Maybe it's
can't
because
believe.
Patrick Mahomes was running around every single play
I
for his life.
guess
So it's like, oh, that's a run attempt. I mean, he,
but
he led the team in rushing, 4 carries, 25 yards, I see.
yeah, but I mean, to be that one dimensional, I get they were down early and they kind of had no momentum, but uh just yeah, really really shocking and surprising there. But yeah, and so odd for an Andy Reid coached team, especially an Andy Reid led offense, to just look so kind of out of sorts and confused, right? Because usually it's all the defensive coordinators or the defenses that are needing to adjust to what Kansas City is doing offensively. This was the first time where it's like, oh man, they kind of got us figured out right now. Like we need to do some new stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just couldn't believe that in this, Vaughn Tichy's offense kind of finally showed the chinks in the armor, I guess you could say, right? And this was really the culmination of, I think it's we'll look into it after the game, but the roster, I think offensively, we finally saw the limitations of this unit, right? And aging Travis Kelsey wasn't very involved. Yeah, Xavier Worthy had, all the long touchdowns and whatnot, but essentially when the game was already out of hand. But right, we thought Patrick Mahomes can make it work, but you look on paper, like DeAndre Hopkins, obviously past his prime. Juju Smith Schuster, same kind of thing, past his prime. And then Hollywood Brown has been banged up all year, hasn't really played all year. We finally saw like, hey, even Patrick Mahomes needs help. And when he's off, like you kind of forget it, right? When you're going to be so one dimensional and rely on your offense like that. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think that was kind of the recipe for success, and we'll see if uh, even more so those AFC defensive lines start to get real, like a lot more focus put on that because I think Vic Fangio might have laid out maybe a blueprint that will limit this Chiefs offense at least.
Well, I hope so because everybody said that after Tampa Bay beat them 5 years ago, and then obviously that didn't turn out to be the case. But if you're the Chiefs, on the other hand, you have to play mind games. I would think, well, if the other teams, they pay attention to the Eagles, they're gonna probably maybe draft a defensive lineman or sign somebody in free agency. I think the Chiefs counter is we need to protect our franchise quarterback at all costs. Let's bolster up our line on the offensive side. And I think it's been a huge issue this year, I think they lost their tackle from last year, Smith. He left. and they drafted a rookie, and I don't think he panned out that well. At least the guy that started the season, and then Joe Thuney, the All Pro left guard, was playing tackle. So it's like now that he's out of position, so he's not as dominant as as a guard versus at tackle. So I should say vice versa. So you got guys out of position, guys are kind of in and out of the lineup. Like they didn't have that continuity, I think. So maybe it takes a couple of years to develop that. But, obviously we talked about it with Ryan, but Jawan Taylor, granted, his name wasn't called upon as much as I thought it would be, but he's been kind of a problem, you could say, for the past couple of years. So I think there's some holes that Kansas City needs to fix going into next season. I think, they have to start in free agency, as every team should.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. And then finally, got to give credit where credit is due. This Philadelphia offense,
Mm-hmm.
you really look at the stats and it's nothing crazy, right?
Yep.
I mean, Hertz throws for about
My
220
X
with a
Factor
pick.
on Super Bowl MVP. What a
Um,
bold pick.
yeah, your X factor. But right, 135 yards in the ground. Big number though. Jalen Hurts with 72 on 11 attempts. Um, and what did I say though, Matt? That turnover column at the end of the day was gonna be basically what determined the winner of this game. And
Yeah.
yeah, Jalen Hurts had one bad decision. Like that was really his only mistake of the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
When he had pressure in his face, right, underthrown ball. Outside of that, I thought honestly that was one of the like
Complete
better
games. It was a complete
complete
game.
Jalen Hurts performances you could really put out there. Um, Obviously, you look at the names, Matt, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard, even Jahan Dotson getting some play in there, but I'm gonna take that unit over what Kansas City is gonna throw out there, obviously, right? But at the same time, got to give Jalen Hurts credit. He did exactly what he needed to do, made throws when he needed to make throws. I think that was the biggest thing, right? Picking up key third downs with his arm. And I don't know, Matt. I've watched Jalen Hurts quite a bit over the past 2 years. This year and last year, in the year before, but really over the past 2 years, I haven't seen him look that like have that acceleration and like speed. Like just honestly, I haven't seen that speed since he was back in Alabama as a freshman sophomore quarterback. You know,
Last year he was
um,
hurt though. I think last year he was
so
kind
I
of
know last year he
battling
he
some
was banged,
injuries.
he was nicked up for sure. But man, it was just kind of like whoa, like when he would take off through the line, the burst that he had to be able to get to the second level, I haven't seen that Jalen Hurts in a long time. He's always been he's always going to be able to use his legs, but the speed and really more so the acceleration, where it's like 3 steps to get to the line, and he's almost getting to top speed. I'm like, whoa, like where did this come from all of a sudden? I said that kind of on one of his first scrambles of the game. I was like, wait, Jalen Hurts is moving different today. I don't know what it is, but uh, yeah, he has speed today, and that clearly proved to be a problem. He picked up had some long runs, that helped keep the chains moving. So, like you said, Matt, or well, I guess like we all said, right? If I'm Kansas City and I'm Steve Spagnuolo, I'm not letting Saquon beat me, and they executed that game plan pretty well. Just on the flip side, you're not expecting 3 turnovers from Patrick Mahomes, and you're not expecting, Jalen Hurts to play such a complete game. I think you're kind of banking on your corners, but McDuffie kind of was put on an island, and I thought he'd be fine, but they kind of got out, went after him quite a bit. So AJ Brown, Devontae has the long bomb to it's pretty much the dagger. Jahan Dotson and Saquon each had big catches throughout the game too. So really good performance, I thought, from the Eagles, and maybe this one just goes to show, like, um, you really are going to need a complete team to, to do it. And saw it on the Chiefs side, your quarterback can't carry you. As great as they maybe are, maybe one of the best two quarterbacks to ever play the game, even he can't carry an entire football team on his back, right? It's going to take it all from everyone. And to the Eagles' credit, they had essentially no, home run from Saquon, but for them to still be able to do enough offensively and still have the talent around the rest of that team to, win the one-on-one battles, right? That offensive line, dominant, I thought, for the most part, right? To be able to eliminate Chris Jones and the rest of those Kansas City pass rushers, like even the Steve Spagnuolo blitzes, they were ready. That offensive line and Jalen Hurts, to his credit, was ready. Kellen Moore, I thought, called a pretty good game, Matt, honestly. So like they were ready for that Spagnuolo defense. The timely blitzes that we've seen eat up so many Lamar, we've seen it eat up Josh Allen, Joe Burrow at times, right? Like we kind of didn't see any of that affect Jalen Hurts for the most part throughout this game. And I think you got to tip your cap to, like I said, Sirianni, Kellen Moore, and that Eagles offense for coming up with a game plan that we don't need to hit the home run on every single play, but move the chains, keep the chains going, right? Time of possession. It's another one. Want to keep the other quarterback off the field as much as possible. So thought they executed their game plan to perfection, and we see now what a complete game will do for you, right, Matt? So
Yeah, that's a good point you brought on Kellen Moore. And yeah, I do roast on him a lot. Rightfully deserve sometimes. But he did call a pretty good game. I have to admit, knowing the game situation, how it's playing out, you're not down 10, like you're the team that's in control of the game. You're up by multiple scores. We're not putting anything in harm's way to give the Chiefs any easy scores. I thought, very methodical drives. I think using Saquon as a receiver, like, yeah, he's giving Saquon the ball, which is great. I like that he didn't just give up on Saquon because he was getting stuffed after his first 10 carries. Like, no, he's a great player. He's the kind of guy where he can bust one literally any touch he gets. So you're going to take your chances throughout the game. But he's a great guy you can use out of the backfield too. I think so. Great job by Kellen Moore. I think, staying ahead of the chains, 1st and 10. I don't need to go take a deep shot. Let me just get Saquon, throw it out in the flat for 4 or 5 yards. 2nd and 5, okay, let's hand it to Saquon here. He gets stuffed for 2.5 yards. But guess what? It's 3rd and short. Anytime you're 3rd and short and you're the Philadelphia Eagles, that's like, well, that's our first down, either in this play or the next one. So it's like they just kept doing that. And then the one or two times they took a home run ball, they hit them because, you keep lulling them to sleep and then boom, you get the home run. And then the one to Devontae, I thought that was a great one because I think they were they up 24?
I think so. I just remember it was right after the turnover.
After the turnover. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect time to take a shot. You're up by 24 points, second half, 3-score game after a turnover. Great call. Take the dagger shot right there. I love that. So got to give credit to Kellen Moore. And I think, Jalen Hurts, he was my X factor. I have to say this again.
You can't have a QB as your X factor.
No, but he is the X factor. Like, I can't say Patrick Mahomes is an X factor. He's the best player on the team. But who is the best player on the offense for the Eagles this year? Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was the workhay. And every game,
quarterback touches the ball on every single play.
No, but if you're the Eagles, okay, like look at the Titans. Go back to the Titans with Tannehill. Who's
Matt,
you're gonna call Tannehill an X factor?
No, like, yeah, I don't think you can ever call a quarterback.
No,
I think like it's so obvious. No, duh, you need to play good.
No, No, but it's
We're
it's
gonna have
it's
to.
about like it's
Oh,
winning
I
the
need this to
game.
be a pole vote.
Oh, yeah, you can make that one then.
Yeah,
No, but I think if you have a guy like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry on the Titans with literally nobody, like that's who the offense is running through. You're running the offense through that guy. And until that guy is stopped, you're gonna keep giving him the ball. And Saquon Barkley has been flat out dominant the entire year. And what did we say? If you're the Chiefs, take away Saquon. You got to live with the results after that. But if you take away Saquon, you just pray in a sense that Jalen Hurts will make a mistake here and there and keep you in the game. But that's why Jalen Hurts deserved the MVP. I have no problem with him winning it because they took away Saquon. It was okay. Yeah, we're not gonna let Saquon beat you. Like, let's see what you got, Jalen. Like, can you do it? Can you do it for one time this game or this season and win the game for your team? And he did. He made all the throws that he had to make. He ran the ball. It was a complete Jalen Hurts masterclass, minus that interception. And I think when a team takes away that number one option, whether he's a quarterback or a receiver, whatever position, that's the true X factor. You're not the primary guy on offense. That's my case. Like, that's a true X factor, I think. So I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is not important or, obviously you need the quarterback, but
I
the
still disagree.
offense runs through Saquon.
I still
I,
disagree.
I I'll go on that hill for this specific Eagles team. Everything goes through Saquon.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying an X factor has to be like a guy you're not expecting. Like who's gonna be the X factor? Like anyway, we could go forever on this. But just kind of last comments on the game, Matt. Obviously, anytime it's a Chiefs game, kind of talk about officiating. I'm just gonna say, like overall, not great. I mean, especially in the beginning, right? Ticky tack offensive PI on AJ Brown, which would have been a huge play early on. I thought that was, terrible. And then there was something else on the flip side. I think it was unnecessary roughness or something like that on McDuffie. I think it was on another AJ Brown ball. Uh, I don't buy that one either. I thought that one was pretty soft. And early on, I was like, we're really doing this in the Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl, and we're not even going to let the guys play a little bit. We're going to be calling. I mean, to me, the AJ Brown was completely egregious. I don't know how you make that call. Um, but other one too. I mean, they missed Patrick Mahomes getting two hands
Smacked in the
smacked in the
face.
face by Jordan Davis. So I don't know how we let that one go either. Granted, I know the game's probably over anyway at that point, but still, I mean, the probably most protected guy in the league is getting two hands smacked to the face by 300 plus pounds, right? Like I don't know how we don't see that. But I mean, other than that, I guess because it was such a blowout, the officiating didn't really come into a factor. So I guess that's a good thing for the NFL that we didn't need to talk about the refs, right? Um, and then I mean, since his last game, special teams, I thought Jake Elliott had a good game, hit all his kicks when he needed to. Um, but
Carson Bucker didn't see the field, right?
Harrison Bucker did not see the field. So
Crazy.
yeah, kind of crazy, Matt. But overall, I think we've finally seen, right? Like football, it really is a team game. Like it takes three phases, even to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right? You're gonna need all three. And got to shout out to this Eagles unit because I thought all three phases dominated this game. So
Yep.
credit where credit is due. We got him. I think the quarterback rankings next year are going to be a little bit interesting. Gotta say, I know I whiffed. I know I whiffed a lot on some of the quarterbacks. Right, Justin Herbert way too high. I'm never going to forget that. Couple guys, like I said, a little bit too low. But hey, I had Jalen Hurts as my number 4 quarterback.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people didn't necessarily agree with that, but I gotta say, my
Eris.
reasons, yeah, I know. But I gotta say, like, my reasons kind of stood true. It was the experience, right? That's why I had him so high. Like, completely honest. For him to be to the Super Bowl, he learned a lot from the, previous years, and we saw he took care of the ball, right? And so that's what I was kind of banking on and why I had him so high. So at least Jalen Hurts validated some of
he
my
he washed
quarterbacking.
out the Justin Herbert
Yeah, I
one.
washed out the Justin Herbert one, man. I can't believe myself for that. Still can't believe it. But yeah, it was a kind of crazy NFL season. And weird, because the Eagles, I heard a lot, oh, they're had so much, there's so much chatter this year, blah blah blah. I thought they were always one of the top teams in the league, so I'm not really sure where that whole thing came from. But more than anything, good for Saquon Barkley, right? I mean, one of the few guys that I've really actually wanted to get a ring in this game. Him, you get to see guys like obviously the young guys, Cooper DeJean. Um, but happy for Jalen Hurts as well for him to get that ring. That'll solidify himself, right, as one of the guys in the league and add him to the short list of quarterbacks that beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs now. So, good for those guys. And I mean, Eagles fans, they came after me before, but good for you guys to be able to celebrate that championship. Matt's not going to give you any
I have
praise,
no,
so
no, no, not the
yeah.
fans. They're the worst fan base in the NFL, even worse than the Chiefs. Worst fan base in the NFL.
So
Disgraceful fan base. They're
yeah,
chanting like that. They have like little brother energy. Like they're the little brothers to Dallas, even though they won the Super Bowl. You won the Super Bowl, and you're chanting Dallas sucks at the game. Out of all things you could think about, you just won the championship. Not chant your team. They're spelling.
EAGO,
They can't even
yes.
spell. Like they're freaking talk about IQ, man. Jeez, you guys can't even spell your own team's name. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna get on a rant, but I'm just saying, you win the Super Bowl and you're thinking about Dallas. Like that means we're in your head.
Well, you know what? Good for Philadelphia. Two-time world champs now. Um, I don't know. Maybe the
What?
NFC is gonna have to run through Philly, just like we think the AFC runs through Kansas City. I think it'll be a toss up though next year, but
Yeah,
um,
Dallas only has to go through the two teams that made it to the NFC Championship game in their division. So we got this. We got this.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, we'll call
What's
it there. That's
what one more thing? What about what's going on with Kelsey? Like I see all these things. Is he
oh
gonna
okay.
retire or not?
I
I don't
thought
think he's
I
gonna retire. I
I
don't think
thought
he's
I
gonna
heard
retire.
on the podcast or something that said if he won, he'd think about it, but if he lost, he wanted to play one more. I think that's what I kind of saw or heard. So yeah, I think that's what I saw anyway. Um,
You feel like he would want to go out a champion, especially with the chances that the Chiefs have every year.
yeah, yeah, I would definitely say that that's probably something he's gonna go want to go out on that high note for. Yeah. Um, but anyway, uh,
Chiefs still have to draft a tight end, I think, or start thinking about it.
just think they need to add more weapons on offense, honestly. Can't just keep, giving Patrick Mahomes a bare minimum and go, here, Patrick, go in with this. Like, yeah, we're gonna have to invest some playmakers, I think, on that side of the ball. But other than that, that'll pretty much wrap the football portion of the Super Bowl. Obviously, we can get into a little bit of the extracurriculars here. So, Kendrick Lamar performed during the halftime show. Matt, overall impressions, like if you, I think if you're not necessarily like a hip hop person, or hip hop isn't something you follow or um really listen to, then probably wasn't as entertaining, I would say, for those. Me, I like hip hop. Um, Obviously we know the Drake Kendrick beef kind of had a lot to do with the overall performance, but Kendrick Lamar, a lot of symbolism, as I kind of expected, right? In his performances. I mean, I believe he is like a Pulitzer Prize winner, so definitely like, we're gonna see some subliminal messaging throughout the performances and stuff. I mean, Samuel Jackson, right,
That
being
was
Uncle
crazy.
Uncle Sam out there, so um like it wasn't the flashiness and stuff that you might expect out of a typical Super Bowl halftime show, but I'll say I enjoyed it personally. But um, I wouldn't say it had the same entertainment value as like the Coldplay surprise with Bruno and
Hmm.
Beyonce, or something like that with all the excitement there. But I still overall I thought I
Yeah,
liked it.
I liked it too. Well, mainly because of I mean, the Drake Kendrick
Yeah.
beef. Like, that's crazy. But I mean, I'm a huge guy on the Super Bowl guests too. Like, I like the guest appearances. I think if you
Mm-hmm.
can fit that in, that's pretty cool. I like SZA, but I mean, I wish they kind of kept that as a surprise. Like,
Mm.
I mean, maybe we could have probably guessed, with certain
Yeah.
songs that he's gonna sing, but I mean, you never know, right? So I think that would have been a better surprise if they kept that hidden.
And SZA was
But
good too, by the way. I
yeah,
know people were saying she was like lip syncing. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm
well,
gonna
I
assume
was
she
listening.
wasn't. So
Yeah, like the first, I think, yeah, she sang two songs. I think, I don't know, it sounded like the first one when she was singing the kind. Yeah,
yeah,
Luther. It
the
was
Luther
like,
one.
yeah, Luther sounded
I
kind of like
know.
recorded. But when
Yeah,
she sang All the Stars, that one,
yeah.
she was definitely singing. I
I
could
thought.
tell.
I thought. I didn't even really. It didn't really even cross my mind, to be honest.
She's a
But
great vocalist, though.
yeah,
So, I
I
mean, she
thought.
could have,
I thought it was pretty good. Um, but yeah, I agree. I was kind of waiting because I thought there was gonna be like a big surprise.
it
I
was
thought that's
Serena Williams.
That's yeah, I guess Serena, uh, Kurt walking to Not Like Us was it, but I did like kind of the whole tease
Yeah,
thing.
that was
Like
good.
personally, I thought that was pretty good to kind of build up the hype. Where it's like, is he really gonna play it in the Super Bowl? I don't know. And he goes like, oh, they're gonna sue me and
Taking
blah
a
blah blah.
jab at Drake
Yeah.
right there.
Um, so I'm like, oh, is he gonna play it? Like, I didn't know if he was gonna actually do it.
He
Um,
had to. There's no way he couldn't have. They have to
yeah,
probably tell him like you're going to perform, but you have to sing this song.
yeah. So kind of the whole build up, and then to not only do that, but then to really he did the look at the camera,
Hey Drake,
and yeah,
hey,
I was like, dang, he
you're
just
like I'm
don't care.
young.
And to say it in front of you
The
know
world.
can't even say it's just America now, because I think we saw, right, the Super Bowl was getting streamed in like 100 whatever different countries now. So football, weirdly, it's getting global. But yeah, I mean, for all those people tuning in, and not only that, but when he hits the A minor chord like verse, right,
Yeah,
to be able to hear the stadium like through the screen, I thought was like kind of nuts.
and he had the A minor chain, which I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's
Yeah, I didn't know if it was A minor. I know it's like his PG Lang company too, but yeah, I did see the chain as well. But yeah, overall, like I said, I liked it, and then he hits the game over at the end
oh,
of
that
it
was pretty
too.
sick.
Like, dang.
That's like a
But
mic drop right there.
yeah, yeah, kind of squashed it once for all. So, like I said, I get why some people thought it was boring or wasn't entertaining or didn't have the energy, but I think if you follow that scene, and you enjoy that kind of music, like it
Yeah.
was pretty good. It wasn't a lot of theatrics. It was just getting to the songs. So I was
Yeah.
personally hoping he played some good Kid, Mad City stuff because I like the throwbacks. Um, and I just like that
Didn't he
album a
play
lot.
Mad
But
City in the other one he
see, and
did
that's
with
what I
Dr.
was gonna
Dre?
say. I think it's because with the Dr. Dre snippet, he played some of his older stuff, so he didn't want to recycle
Repeat,
what he
yeah.
already played. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, I could, I can get that, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. Next year, probably, I would imagine they're gonna go
Drake.
back to singer. Drake would be crazy
Nah.
if they go to Drake next year. Drake's a great performer though, so I'm sure he put on a good show. He obviously he has a ton of hits, right? So, sure the set would be good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will say this though. I think the Super Bowl is in at Levi Stadium in for 49ers Stadium. So who's from like the Bay Area?
well, you would think they would do that, right? But they didn't go with like Lil Wayne, who's
Yeah,
from New
that's true.
Orleans. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, star big enough to perform in the Bay, yeah. Or a star from the Bay that's like that big. Maybe I just don't can't think of anyone off the top of my
I don't
head,
know
but
who is from the Bay.
yeah. But I'd
All right, I'm
imagine
still waiting
they
for my Dua Lipa
I mean,
halftime.
you might get it, it might go they might go back to like a pop-ish person next year. So,
But
um
Jay Z is the guy that's running it though. So Jay Z is rapper, right? So
yeah, but
there's a trend, I think, these past few Super Bowls.
well, we'll see. We'll see. But I think they'll go more to like a singer rather than kind of the rap or hip hop stuff. Um,
Well, the year Dua Lipa does the halftime show is the year the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. I'll say that.
okay. All right.
It has to
Um,
be. That would be the greatest day of my life, possibly. And the worst for everybody else that knows me.
yeah, thank God we don't go to the same Super Bowl parties. Um,
I will go to every single Super Bowl party I can after
okay.
the game.
Yeah. Well, that officially closes the book on the 2024-2025 NFL season and our discussions, at least we until we get into free agency and the draft, but oh,
Yeah. Thank
so
goodness. What a horrible football season.
I'm not gonna lie, Matt, about a month ago, even hell, 2, 3 weeks ago, I was already thinking like, man, once the Super Bowl's over, like all we're gonna have is basketball. And we're gonna have to drag through basketball, and we're gonna have to wait for even maybe spring training. I don't even know. Some baseball news to pick up. Then Adam Silver out of nowhere tells all these teams start making trades because our ratings are dropping. So now we have so much excitement. I feel like, at least, especially being a Lakers fan, rocking my LA Strong Lakers shirt here. Go out and support the LA community guys. But yeah, I mean, finally got to see the debut. We talked about it a lot last week. Unfortunately, Mark Williams thing, weird. Still waiting
Yeah,
on
I
this
don't
whole dust to
understand.
settle. I've never seen the trade rescinded like that before. Um, we can get into that a little bit later, but we get the debut of Laker Luka, which is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, seeing him in that jersey was weird. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
completely expected, as I think I will say 100% of America that watches the NBA expected Luka Doncic to be a Maverick for at least the next 10 to 15 years, right? That's what you would expect out of a 25-year-old superstar. Lo and behold, we know what happened. It wasn't fake. And we finally got to see the Lakers play with Luka Doncic. And I'll preface it by saying they played the Utah Jazz, who are in the, draft lottery sweepstakes, essentially. So didn't play a great team, but, you know, overall came out, really didn't like the team didn't look too out of sorts, I guess, or have to adapt to this new play style with Luca overall. I think he's gonna take a few games and possibly till after the All Star break, to get kind of his legs back under him and get into that game speed, game shape. So, um, other than that, I mean, he looked comfortable with the ball in his hand. I just think naturally defensively he's not, the quickest guy, and he's gonna be put in a lot of pick and rolls. So we'll see how JJ can kind of scheme something up that way to give him some help. But overall, a great win. The Lakers, Matt, I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but you go take a look at the NBA standings, and the
Fourth,
Lakers
right?
are in fourth place, uh, currently a smidge ahead of Houston, and are only 2.5 games out of the 2 seed now. So I don't know. Like, a lot of credit is due, I think, to Rob Pelinka, and JJ Redick for kind of creating this offensive, and really defensive unit, has been put together here. So um, I'm excited, Matt. I mean, Luka, he did enough. I mean, he didn't even need to do a ton, but saw some of the playmaking, the classic step backs, when he was out there on the court. I think LA fans are so stoked to be able to have him out there. But more than anything, to see him kind of click and gel with that first unit, so quickly already, I think is just outstanding. And if they're gonna just keep getting better, I think it's already when you already have a guy like LeBron that can outlet or can, find guys in such creative ways. Obviously, it helps your team, but when you got I mean, two LeBrons out there, right? Like, playmaking wise with Luka, and now you got Austin Reeves adding to the mix too. Like, you just see this offense. They dropped 72 points in the first half, Matt. Like, granted, they've been doing that, which is crazy. The run they've been on, even before without Luka, and that game without Luka and LeBron. But I mean, this offense is humming right now. Just to kind of get into it offensively, and it's one game with Luka, so there's not a ton to really say here. But just to first start off with the offense, Matt, I think Rui Hachimura has been playing insane recently. Like, he's just dropping 20-point games out of nowhere, and I think him being that fourth option is a perfect spot for him, offensively. I think, rebounding wise, he's gotten much better this year. Defensive focus is there. So that's really good stuff to see. And, when you even kind of look and he's kind of that forgotten guy out there, that defenses leave open, he can punish you. He cuts baseline a lot. He can hit the open three, right? And he can take it in the post when he has the mismatch. So really good stuff from him. Another guy that obviously has taken, I can't believe the leap he's taken this year, but Austin Reeves, as a playmaker, saw the other night, drops 45 points without LeBron, no Luka, 45, 7-7, no big deal, right? Like, against a good Indiana Pacers team, I might add, right? A really good defensive unit. Um, so for Austin Reeves to take the jump that he's taken, right? Like, he's become like good old reliable now at this point. Um, his step back game is great, but it's really that same kind of play style ish that Luka has, right? Use the pick and roll, use the screen, get into the paint, get a guy on your hip, uh, hit the midi, take contact, get to the line, and the playmaking too. Like, the passes that he's able to make now, like, so impressed really with Austin Reeves and his game this year. I think he's such a key piece, Matt. And then the last guy I want to highlight, at least offensively, has been Gabe Vincent. Like, we are finally, after a year and a half, essentially, are getting Miami Gabe Vincent, like the guy we saw in that playoff series or playoff run that the Heat had to the finals a couple years ago, right? We're seeing that Gabe Vincent emerge once again, and I think that's huge to see him, hitting threes and being able to score off the bench is huge, honestly. So just so excited, offensively. I think the question is going to be, can we sustain this level of success with just essentially Jackson Hayes as our
Yeah,
center that's gonna get
that's
minutes.
the issue right there.
We're gonna see, Matt, but I do think they are gonna be aggressive in that buyout market. Um, like I said, so yeah, I mean,
I was
um,
watching the game today. I was like, I have to watch Luca's
you
debut. Like
gotta
this is
watch.
like much CTV. But I think it's a luxury now, like for JJ, right? As a coach, you can like I would think you consider Austin Reeves as one of those primary like offensive
And
creators for your team.
it's
So
so
you can stagger. Possibly you can have at least two guys on the court throughout 48 minutes of a
and
game. You can
and you know what?
stagger their rest.
hmm And what I was thinking too is I think Austin Reeves might get the most minutes, like
Well, he's the
on the
young,
team.
or is he the youngest? Actually, oh, he's
Well,
around Luca.
no,
He's younger than
he's
Luca,
no,
right?
he's older than Luca.
He
Because
is.
he was a
That's
4 year
true.
college guy,
Crazy.
undrafted. But yeah, but anyway, I just say that because you can afford to sit LeBron and Luca at the same time now because of Austin Reeves, right? Like he's so good with the ball in his hand, and able to run with the second unit guys. Like he's taken such a leap this year in facilitating this JJ Redick offense. So,
Yeah.
um, like it's a great luxury to have, these three guys that can create for themselves and create for others. Um, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. You
Um,
know what else I noticed too about it was one game. I'm gonna put it's one game against the Utah Jazz, but maybe it was the Luca hype. But I was watching LeBron. LeBron normally doesn't play defense like this in a regular season game, albeit against a 12-40 Utah Jazz team. Like I don't know if that's
he was
just
locked
the
in.
Luca hype. Yeah, but I'm just saying, is that something that Luca can help with? Where LeBron now can maybe play a little bit more defense. And we all know, like, if LeBron tries and plays defense, he's a force. It's just for him, he's always the primary guy on offense. He has to conserve his energy to be able to, run the offense the entire game. But now Austin Reeves is developing and blossoming. Obviously, Luka is there, and once he gets more, I guess, accustomed to playing with these guys, like maybe LeBron. This is like LeBron's like, okay, I'll back off on offense a little bit. I can play a little bit more defense, against certain guys, in critical situations. I would say so. Maybe that makes you a better defensive team in that aspect.
Well, I mean,
But
defensively,
LeBron, he's very picky and choosy when he wants to play defense. So I will say that. But it was one game, but he looked energized.
yeah,
Maybe because
and
Luca was there.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the defense, Matt, because defensively, I think this is the best defensive unit I've seen from the Lakers going back to the 2020 championship run that they've had. Granted, they don't have the same rim protection with Anthony Davis and JaVale and Dwight back then, but wing wise, we had KCP and Danny Green and those Kuz playing defense out there. Don't get me wrong, that was a great unit, but man, Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt out there along with Gabe Vincent, who's really a true two-way guy. You can see kind of that defensive intensity that those guys bring. Like you said, when LeBron brings it, that's something else. I think Rui has really improved as a defender this year. Jackson Hayes, I think he's slowly starting to get a little bit better every day, accepting the fact that he's going to be that starting center. But man, you kind of look at these guys and the effort that they put out on the defensive end and on the boards too. Like this unit just feels different this year, man. It really feels reminiscent of that 2020 Lakers team. And I don't
You
know.
need the
I
bigs.
think I
I think
think
you still need a bit. You need
oh
the
yeah,
bigs.
I still think there's gonna be we still need one more big. I think Jemison, he's just a little bit too raw. Um Seen him a bunch now. I think right now for this team, yeah, he's probably not gonna be the answer. um, off the bench to spell Jackson Hayes. And when we inevitably run into the Nuggets, someone's gonna have to have size on Jokic. I'm sorry, like if you can't match the size, then forget it, right? Because Jokic is already gonna drop 30-point triple doubles in the playoffs. We just can't have that turn into 40 and 50-point triple doubles against us, right? So still do think I agree with you. Gonna need that rim protection, but the defensive intensity too. Gotta shout out JJ Redick, man. Like this unit hasn't really had that same feel, like I said, for the past 5 years. But they're doing something right out in LA now. Haven't felt this confident because we've been a bubble team for the past how many years, right? Right on the bubble. Oh, got to play in. Oh, okay. Now we're the 7th seed. Now we're the 8th seed. Whatever it is, right? But now here we are, right in the thick of it in the West. On a heck of a run right now. I think we won 12 of like our past 14 or something like that. So Lakers are hot. They're playing really well, and I'm excited. And another guy, I gotta shout him out. Jordan Goodwin made his debut with the Lakers 2 games ago against the Pacers. And I'm like, who is this guy getting minutes out on the floor with the mask? I have no idea who this is.
But I trust JJ, man.
Yeah, just found out he signed a 2-way contract. I genuinely think, Matt, he's gonna get like valuable minutes. Another guy that can defend and has been giving a lot offensively. Right, he's can kind of pick his way.
He's
I
like
don't
a
think,
slasher.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna drop 17 points a game like he did tonight. But he's good, like you said, a slasher, can cut at the right time, kind of has, gets into the offensive boards and is there for putbacks and stuff. But defensively, I think he has given a lot to this second unit defensively. Um, and like I said, you couple that with a Jared Vanderbilt or a Dorian Finney-Smith, like that's a unit to be reckoned with defensively. So just really excited. Like I haven't felt this genuinely excited about a Lakers team in a while. So I'm excited,
Yep.
and like I said, just add that one piece. Um, and I think this we have a legit shot to win it all this year. As
Yeah.
good as the Thunder have been, as much as the Nuggets have been our kryptonite, we haven't even seen Luka in full force yet, man. Like, and that's kind of the crazy thing behind this whole thing. And if this new like offense, at least they've been running since AD's been hurt. Let's just get out there and push and run and go. I think we're going to see Rui get a lot of points. Jackson Hayes is going to have a lot of lobs. I think even LeBron, the assists are going to go down. But I think the scoring is going to go up, honestly, because now you have
That's when
Luka.
he's at his best.
Yeah, and you're going to have Luka now. And LeBron, if he's able to run to the rim or cut or have easy, lanes and catch the ball in good positions in the post, like I'm really excited, and I have real championship hope this year. Not that false championship hope that I've had for the past 2 years. Even when we made it all the way to
The Western
the
Conference
conference
Finals.
finals against Denver, like I still kind of was like, man, Denver's just built different. But this year, it's really like, nah, we have a chance, and
You
I'm
have a
excited.
chance, but
So
I still think you need bigs. Like maybe
yeah,
not to
yeah, we
score,
need
but you just
bigs.
need defending big body bigs. Could have been Mark Williams, but I don't know what's
Yeah,
never
that
seen
whole
that before. That's kind of
situation
weird.
is weird, and I'm just thinking, what does that do for Dalton Connect and Cam Reddish? Dalton Connect more so. Cam Reddish wasn't getting a ton of minutes as it was, but man, Dalton, for him to be such a highly touted rookie and kind of slips in the draft and then surprises everyone and then goes cold a little bit, um, for him to be traded and then essentially untraded because Mark Williams, it's got to be something we don't know about Charlotte, like that Charlotte isn't telling us.
Well, they're
I
like
know they're
challenging or
I know
protesting it,
they're
right?
challenging whatever. I don't think they're gonna win. Honestly,
So what
But
happens if they win the challenge? Does it go through?
I have no idea. This is like an unprecedented thing. I've never seen this before, especially
Yeah.
past the trade deadline. So it's like kind of weird. I don't know how that works or factors in too. So we'll see how that shakes out. But you know, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not opposed to Dalton Connect being on the team. I obviously like him a lot, and I think he provides another athletic wing that can shoot that'll help this team. So uh, maybe we just gotta find a player to buy out, um, and then kind of see how it goes. But yeah, man, excited and yeah, honestly ready for the playoffs with this unit. So it'll be fun. Um, but it is All Star Weekend coming up, Matt. So as we usually do, right? Pick teams. I still don't get the format this year. There's like three teams, whatever. All Star NBA All Star Game is so unwatchable. It's like close to the Pro Bowl, right? But I could maybe kind of stomach it. Um, but why don't we do our drafts here now? So
Our
um
annual fan fanatic
yeah,
all
our
star
annual fan
draft.
fanatic all-star draft. It's not the players anymore. So it's not like Team LeBron or Team Giannis like it's been, right? So I don't know, I guess
We're
we'll
still
do like
drafting it in that aspect. Like
yeah,
it's
but we'll say we're team you do you want to be Shaq or Barkley?
uh
Ooh. I'm
I
sorry,
don't know.
Kenny. Kenny, don't get me wrong, I love you, but it's just the Shaq and Charles thing. It's just too good. So
well, but then we're gonna draft all the rosters, right?
oh
We're
yeah,
not just
we're drafting everyone. It's just like I choose those as our designated
all right,
coach
designated.
representatives. So you
All
want to
right.
be Shaq or Chuck?
Well, neither, but I guess since Shaq is a Laker, he should be you. That's you, right?
I'm Shaq. Okay. All right. I'll just
All
flip
right.
a coin.
So, okay, wait. First, we have to establish the ground rules. So, starters
Starters
first.
first. All the
Starters,
starters first. Yeah.
starters first. Then we go bench.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we draft it as if we're playing like a real game, right? Not no like NBA All Star just 3 point shootout type of
Yeah,
thing.
like trying to win a game or trying to win a series, however you want to put it.
Okay. So we draft out of the starters, right? First, as we
Yeah.
usually do.
Voted starters first.
Okay.
Injured players count too. Like,
Also, we're including the injured guys.
yeah, don't we always include the injured guys? Or do we not include the injured guys? Because it's Giannis and AD. That's the injured guys.
Yeah. Um.
Because they're both. Well, Giannis is a starter. I say we include the injured guys.
Okay. That's fine.
Everybody's an all star for a reason.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I
Okay,
forget who
last
picked
year,
first last year.
I think
I think you picked first last year.
did I pick first? Okay, so you got first pick of the starters then, right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I got first pick of the reserves.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, kick us off then.
All right. Well, I guess out of this all the starters in the league, I gotta go with ooh, this is so tough. I mean, I'm between two guys right now. I can't pick against my GOAT. Give me LeBron.
Okay, LeBron James.
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay, so LeBron is first. Hmm. All right. Interesting there. All right. So yeah, I was kind of worried you're gonna take him, but since this is a pretty deep pool, I'm gonna go with the Joker, Nikola Jokic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was only between two guys, so
Was Jokic the one guy?
oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay,
Joker.
so the Joker. Next, I am gonna have to go. Oh, this is interesting. I gotta go with Shea. Give me Shea.
Yeah, that was
Potential
who I
MVP
was.
right now.
Yeah, Shea. Kind of hard to debate that.
I think it's between him and Jokic right now for the MVP.
I think so too.
I think that's probably what it
Starters.
is.
Got 3D. All right. Ooh, this is a tough one. Do I build a formidable front? But this is it's a shooting game. Gotta pick Wardell, Stephen Curry.
Mhm.
Even though he's having a down year,
Saw that one coming.
still
Okay.
dangerous as they come.
All right. Pretty easy for me then when he's healthy. Give me Giannis.
Yeah, okay, I figured. Curry's off. There's Giannis. Giannis is out. Ooh, okay. Now I gotta start filling in the wings here. So give me Jason Tatum.
Tatum. Interesting. You want Tatum next. Okay.
My first round pick in fantasy basketball. I am loyal.
So do we have to go like three front court and two back court? Is that what we have to do, or we can go positionless basketball
You can have
if we
five
really
centers
want?
if you want. Yep.
Okay, well that's beautiful. Because at the with my next pick, I'm going with KD.
All right. Kevin Durant. Well, we got Brunson here too. Got Brunson. Ooh, interesting. So we got
Yeah,
okay,
there's
so we got
a lot of
we
guards
got
left.
yeah, we got a lot of guards here. This is interesting.
It's Cat,
Do I pick Cat and
um,
build that formidable
Brunson,
front court?
and Mitchell left.
Yeah. Let's see. Brunson. We got Brunson,
Donovan
Cat,
Mitchell.
and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
All right. I'm trying to build size here. I'm gonna make you pick the guards, so give me Cat.
it's smart because my team
Yep.
would have
Give me
been
Cat.
huge
give,
if you didn't pick a guard.
give me Cat.
Okay. Um. Ooh, last guy. Who? This is kind of
This is
interesting
Mitchell
here.
and Brunson, right?
I mean, they have similar games. Obviously, well, I want to say that Donovan's so explosive, right? Jalen kind of has that. What do they call it? Like the old man game.
Yeah.
Um. Oh man, I think with this unit, I want a guy that can get out and run. So normally I'd probably take Brunson, but for my team so far, I want Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. And I get Brunson.
Yeah, give me
Jalen
Spider.
Brunson. Okay. Where is
All
it?
right, and now we go to
The
our
reserves.
reserves.
Now this is the fun
Now
part.
the drafting really starts.
Yep. This is the real draft right here, where it's won and lost. Okay, so I got my starters here. Let me break this down. Okay, so I got first pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of
Out
the
of all the
reserves.
reserves.
Ooh. I mean, I think I have to pick this guy.
Probably.
First pick, give me Victor
Yep.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I think that one was a little easy. Um, gonna have to go with Wemby there. Um, shoot. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to kind of match a little bit of the size. So I'm gonna take AD.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anthony Davis.
I think it's interesting. I'm just more going on the counter attack right now.
Size versus size. Interesting. We just drop all the picks. We're gonna play inside. Ooh, okay. Well, got Wemby off the bench. Now I need a bucket. Give me Ant-Man.
And yeah, see, I liked that pick, and I knew who my counter was gonna be with that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with JB.
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown. Okay, okay. So we got Cade, we got Kyrie.
My team is just running. I think my team can just
Oh wait, who
run.
you got? Who did you pick? Oh,
AD
Jaylen
and
Brown.
Jalen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Okay. Hmm. All right. Yeah, I got some. Well, I got Ant's pretty athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh, I know who I'm going with.
this
I got
is
two
this
guys
is
in mind now who I'm
interesting.
going with.
Yeah, this is tough right here. There's a lot of good options that I like. Huh. All right. I think for this one, I'm gonna go defense. Give me Jaren Jackson Jr.
Dang it. I was gonna go with JJ. Triple J. Okay. That kind of threw a wrench in my thing now.
You
Um,
didn't think I was gonna pick him? Oh, he's
yeah.
averaging 23 points
Yeah,
too.
he's well, because he's on my fantasy
Crazy.
team, so I've been following Jaren Jackson Jr. all year. He's had an outstanding year, I
Yep.
will say. So now it gets a little
God,
interesting.
I'm loving my size right now. I got two
Um,
starting bigs,
we're
two
gonna
big
just keep
guys off the
going with
bench.
size. It's gonna be kind of interesting. Um, hmm. I don't know if I have to just count, but if I keep countering, then you're gonna take all the talent. I'm a big fan of this guy's game this year. Um, Man, do I have the size to compete with Wemby? At least I got AD, and then Cat. I still have Giannis and Jaren Jackson. Yeah, he might be a problem, but I got KD. Oh man, this is gonna be kind of hard. Um, okay, I'm gonna take a risk. Might be a little bit of a reach, but I'm gonna go Mobley.
Okay. Evan Mobley. He's a great player though. I
Oh,
actually
I
like
love
him.
his game. I love his game. And since you're taking
Evan
all the bigs, I
Mobley.
just had to match.
How many bigs I got left?
Well, there's only pretty much Şengün and
Shengun, Pascal is like a
Pascal.
hybrid, I
Yeah.
guess.
Now I know. I know which
Yep.
guys I'm going for now,
All
but
right.
we'll see.
So think I got Ant, need some guard play. Give me Dala.
Dala. Okay. I like that. But I like this guy even more. Give me Cade. I think he's having an
Hmm,
outstanding year for the Pistons, man.
that's a good pick. Okay,
Like,
Cunningham
yeah. He is
off
definitely
the
lived
board.
up to the number one pick height.
I like that. Like that. All right. I think this is where,
We're also counting the reserves, right?
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
like the injury replacements, I mean.
Yeah, like Kyrie
Okay.
and
Kyrie
Trey
and
Young
Trey.
are good.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. They're on there. I
Yep.
just want to make sure.
So, well, I got Dame, but I think I'm gonna throw a wrench at you on this one. Give me Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams. That was a guy I was hoping you were gonna let slip through the cracks there. Jada.
Might be a
Okay.
reach, but I think he's having a
I
great
don't know.
year
I
this year.
I wouldn't even say he's a honestly, all these guys left like are
Okay, yeah, I
are
mean they're
really
all
good.
stars, so I
Yeah,
mean,
don't get me wrong. They are all stars. Like all these guys a lot. I think, man, not to just say I have to play off the counters here, but um another guy who's gonna fit this unit. I think I need just a little bit of I think I need a little bit of shooting off my bench right now. So I'm gonna go with Tyler Hero.
ooh, Tyler, you're okay. No Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero. Hmm. Now it's getting interesting here. Still think I have. Yeah, Jalen Williams. I really like that pick there.
Yeah,
Athletic
me too.
wing, can defend, but Ant-Man is a two-way guy. But we're on the bench, right?
Hmm.
Got to get some buckets. Give me Uncle Drew,
Kyrie, I like
Kyrie
that pick.
Irving.
Um, okay, and I've been a fan of this guy for a while. I think he's just a solid overall dude. Kind of gets lost there in Indiana, but give me Pascal, man. Oh,
Pascal.
Siakam. I think
Okay,
another really underrated All Star that obviously can play both sides of the ball and is a champion. So can't
that's
forget about
true.
that.
He's a winner. Okay. Interesting field here. There's what, five guys left, right?
Should be four.
Four.
Yeah.
Okay, I got James Harden on the board. I got
Harden, Garland,
Garland.
Trey,
Oh, four.
and
Yeah,
Shengun.
Shengun. Yeah, okay. You're right. All right. So, kind of going process of elimination here. I'm taking Shengun. I think
Oh,
I'm gonna
he's a
take the
great player.
size. Process of
I think
elimination
he's
by
had a really good
position at this
year.
point.
Um, and then out of the
Staying big.
three, I just love watching Darius Garland dribble the basketball. Like
See.
he has that thing on a string, man.
All right.
Now, I mean, this
Well,
is we're essentially getting the same player. So pick your poison.
yeah.
One shoots
Hmm.
left-handed, one shoots right-handed. So take your pick.
Well, oh gosh, it's like who's more efficient?
I don't even know. You tell me.
I don't know. I'm gonna say, gosh, I'll take James just for the size.
Wow.
Take James
Okay.
for the
Well,
size.
give me Trey for the clutch
Ice
factor.
Trey.
Yeah. I'll take Ice Trey with my last pick.
Like Trey Young
Okay.
was the last pick last year for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well, pretty interesting teams. We'll probably I don't know, maybe we can post it and
We'll post
see
this.
see whose team gets more of the love. I think your team got all the love last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
People just don't like the way I draft, honestly. But like it comes to most things on this pod, I take a lot of heat. And then later on, I don't know, like
Oh, you're right.
I maybe you know what I'm talking about sometimes. Weird. Not all the time. I'm not perfect, Justin Herbert. But there are times like, hey, maybe I kind of know like what I'm talking about. So
Yep.
we'll see how what the world thinks of of our drafts. But yeah, that was fun. Okay. Uh
I like my
just
team.
yeah. I mean the Wemby pick, yeah. That was the only one I was really hoping for, but um okay. Other than that, I think this is pretty good. Um
That
I
was
think
a good pod.
that's yeah,
I think that's
that's
all we
about
got
it.
this week.
Yeah. Relatively shorter one compared to usual, but that's okay. Um,
Yep. Nothing wrong with that. You can go to sleep earlier.
yeah. Okay. So last stuff, Matt. As usual, we got to get to our quick hitters. So why don't you start us off,
All
Jerry
right.
Jones?
Jerry Jones Award winner. Sadly, it has to be Drake. I mean, just got embarrassed in front of the world. I don't know how you come back from that, but we'll see. I mean, it was just it was a roast, Super Bowl roast, basically.
Hmm.
with the halftime show. So yeah, Drake, sorry, you got to take down on the chin. Maybe come back with a banger album. Let's see what you got. You know, keep this feud going. But yeah, Drake is the Jerry Jones Award winner for this one.
I would say that is pretty fair, Matt. You're gonna hate, you're gonna absolutely hate my fan tribute. But I gotta give credit where credit is due, and this Philly roster was just, I mean, you really think about top to bottom, so complete. I mean, you got your franchise quarterback, somehow add Saquon Barkley to that mix, build the best offensive line currently in football, and one of the most dominant defensive lines. And they were the best defense all year, Matt, on paper. So I mean, I gotta just give love to Howie Roseman. The fact that he was able to add guys in free agency over the past several years, along with draft really good rookies, still have a lot of depth, leadership, experience mixed with young talent. Like just looking at Darius Slay and CJ Gardner Johnson and Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, right? That's like the perfect balance of vets that can still play mixed with the young talent that's on the rise, right? Then you go to offense and we know how they were built, right? So Howard Roseman, I think him and his staff, that Eagles front office, that they're gonna get my you know fan tribute just because you do really need to build a roster like that to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, so my props out to him and that staff because I think we saw just how good this roster is. So they're gonna be my fan tribute. Got to show them love, and
Yeah,
I know that
that's
pains
fair.
you as a Cowboys fan, but I think
Yeah,
I think even
more
you have to acknowledge
jealous.
that.
More jealous because it's just sucks to see a team actually try and win, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when your GM is aggressive. Not I wouldn't even say aggressive, just reasonable, smart. Just
Reasonable.
I mean, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. But sports fact of the day, February 10th, we are recording kind of I guess a depressing one, but 2011 longtime NBA coach Jerry Sloan resigned as the head coach of the Utah Jazz. I don't know. That guy was coaching for forever. And I remember when he retired, I was like, oh, it was like kind of out of nowhere too. I was like, oh, in the middle of the season? That's weird. I don't know why you would do that, but I don't know who was on the 2000. That was like, was that Darren Williams and Boozer? Trying to
Must
think,
have been back then.
right? Gotta be right. Or was Darren Williams on the Nets already? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was around that time. But that's the sports fact. Kind of a sad one. I was looking for a Super Bowl, but I don't know. I guess Super Bowls didn't make it to February 10th.
Hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, that'll pretty much wrap us up, Matt. Next week, guess it's all basketball from here on out. So All-Star game stuff and maybe this pods are gonna start getting a little bit shorter just because it's really only basketball. Can't wait for playoffs now. I think it's gonna be real fun to cover all the series, but yeah, other than that, that's all we got for this week. So thank you guys for listening. As usual, please stay safe. Have a good long weekend coming up this next week, Valentine's Day. Don't forget, guys, I'm giving you the warning for all the guys listening. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Friday. Um, hey, ladies, too, it is Valentine's Day. Don't be afraid to get your guy something too, right? So, um, yeah. Anyway,
What a romantic guy.
yeah, romantic guy that's gonna be I'll be at the gym for Valentine's Day this year, Matt. So
Hey, that's a great place to pick up ladies, right?
I don't know about that one. But yeah, I'll just be on my grind this Valentine's Day.
Respect.
Anyway, yeah. So thanks guys for listening. As usual, Appreciate it. And yeah, stay safe. Have a good one. And see you guys next week.